Improvement is very important thing to do. Like lifelong learning, self improvement, either in ourself or improvement of business. Whatever we are doing, life is all about continuous improvement to become a little better every next time. Like whatever I'm doing, however I am engaging you now, maybe my aim should be that next time when I do some article with you, it should be better than the last one. And over a period of time, I would want to improve myself. Same goes for international businesses or any other thing you want to think about. They come with one market, target country, they launch the product, and then they keep on improving it, innovation, bringing in new ideas, serving the customer better, all of those. So improvement is very important in whatever we are doing in our life or in business. Otherwise we will just stay where we are. um, some people can, can, maybe they want a lifestyle where they are just satisfied with wherever they are, and then they will just, continue doing whatever they are doing. That is also okay if someone wants to think like that, but I would not want you or myself to think like that. I would encourage the thinking of lifelong learning. I would like to encourage the thinking of that we never graduate. Although you will graduate when you will, but the thinking should be that we never graduate because we are always learning the next thing there. So in that, if you are going to improve yourself, there are many ways which you can improve yourself, and one of the major techniques or the method or the path you would want to take is through feedback. So other people will tell you, people around you, companies around you, businesses around you, they are going to tell you something that, you did it like this, maybe you should do it like that, or whatever. Feedback, yeah, feedback. So there is the right ways of receiving feedback. What are some of the things which we should consider when we are taking feedback? And you can also, from the article, some ideas will come, like how to give feedback. And we were talking about in one of the articles, we were talking about advice, how to give advice, how to receive advice. So you can call this article a spin-off of that, maybe. Like this is particularly going to talk about feedback. Find the coaching in criticism, and think about this word criticism. People don't like the word criticism, like criticizing. No one read. Think about your own life. When someone criticizes you, how do you feel? What emotions you feel? Do you like when people criticize you? They tell you simple things like at home, someone telling you, don't sit like that, make your shoulders straight, sit, posture is important, sit up straight. Anything, our parents and, elders, they tell us, simple little thing. All the time they are trying to, tell us, they are trying to tell us something. And sometimes we listen and sometimes we don't listen. So my idea here is that when people don't listen to your feedback or your advice, generally you are thinking that the other person is stubborn and they don't listen and they don't want to improve and they don't understand. Very rarely people think that maybe the method in which the feedback was given, maybe that was not correct. Maybe they need to look within and improve their style of conveying the feedback to others. And from there you saw in the literature this, or in the, everyday usage, people say that constructive criticism or constructive feedback, I listen to constructive feedback. So if it is not constructive, I am not going to listen to it. And who decides which feedback is criticism and which feedback is constructive criticism and which one is not? So so these type of things I would want to think about. Very nice title, find the coaching in criticism. And please be mindful, they are not saying in constructive criticism. No, anytime any person is saying something to you, don't, why to get offended on that? What is the problem? Why just take a moment and just think about it, that why you are getting angry because of criticism. There is no need to criticism, because If you look at it in the way that this is a way for you to improve yourself and learn from that criticism or feedback, uh, nothing is better than that. But if you are like always looking at criticism as bad, then maybe in your head you are thinking that you know everything, and you don't need to learn anything new. If that mentality is there, then of course lifelong learning will not happen. Lifelong learning will only happen that if if you are open to these type of criticism. And so the very nice article, find the title, find the coaching in criticism, the right ways to receive feedback. So let's start going through the article and see what we can learn from this. Feedback is crucial, that's obvious. It improves performance, develops talent, aligns expectations, solves problems, guides promotions and pays, and boosts the bottom line. But still, people are people would be very happy to take feedbacks and stuff like that. But do they really work on that feedback? They try to improve themselves or something like that. That sometimes don't happen. So you have to now look within, like how do you view feedback when some feedback is given? What do you do with that? How do you use it to your advantage? And of course I understand that there are some people who give us like negative feedback, which is just like, we don't see any benefit, but and we like become a little bit angry. I understand that emotion too. But the idea is that control your emotions, don't get angry or frustrated or anything. um, Feedback is just some words which other person is saying, and if you will lose your emotions because someone said something, then how you are going to be successful, let alone in business? Forget about international business where different type of people are going to come in your way from international markets. You won't be successful in that. You will be just limited to few things. So take people say something, you look at it and take it. Don't Nothing is against, like it's the feedback or criticism is not on your personality. It is on one aspect of your life. Like if someone criticize, well, no one criticize me for my like my accent, but I'm just saying that if there is someone who criticize my accent or something like that, or the choice of my articles, let's say someone criticize that we don't like the type of articles you are using, why you are using articles, why we cannot have a standard PowerPoint slides or something like that. Someone can criticize that. So uh, I should not look at it that that is a criticism on me. No, it is not a criticism on me, because I have many things in my personality. This is just one part of. Or someone can criticize like my coursework, like they say, oh, why, what is this? And you know people do those type of things. So I should be open with that, and I should be able to, I'm okay, I have consulted the departments and I've looked at the regulations, and from there I've seen that how I can outlay my course outline, or how I can do different things, and from there I decide that I'm not breaking anything and I'm doing it. So that type of openness, like people will always do, especially when you will try to do something new. Especially when you will try to something new, this type of criticism and what you call as a negative feedback, that is going to emerge. But again, the idea is that don't take it as a negative thing per se. Yeah, I think someone made some comment or something. Sometimes it's not what they say, but how they say it. Yes, very, very true, very true. And we need to really learn this thing which Jord is, highlighting, that we need to know that how we say different things to other people. Um, this is very true. I can really relate with this line, and I'm sure all of us can relate. Like um, the way people communicate their things, sometimes that provoke us. The way people give feedback, people don't know how to give feedback sometimes. So you need to ask yourself, do you know how to give feedback? If you don't know, you should learn how to give and how to take feedback. It is very important thing, because every now and then You will have to give feedback or your opinion to other people in different environments. What is the right way without provoking anyone? You are able to even say something negative, something, talk about some negative aspect of personality without provoking anyone. Yeah. So these are some of the things which I would like to discuss with you guys, and we will see what they have said in this short, very precise article, just like 3 pages. And we have enough time, 1.5 hours, so we will also try to have our own opinions and things. And please, as I'm speaking, forget about other things which you have to do. Is just 1.5 hour more, so just focus on this aspect which we are trying to think. And I'm sure you are thinking about these things, and just reflect on these things. Focus here for next 1.5 hour. But it is equally obvious that in many organizations, feedback does not work. A glance at the stats tells the story. Only 36% of managers complete appraisal thoroughly and on time. Why is that? Because feedback they are taking it lightly, or they don't know the importance, or they don't know how to give, or they have so many other work engagements that this thing goes on a back burner. In one recent survey, and 36% is, look at the number, it's quite low. In one recent survey, 55% of employees said their most recent performance review had been unfair or inaccurate. Yeah. So first, not many managers are doing it, and of course, statistics. All the articles are coming from statistics are coming from, generally speaking, U.S. markets, and not it's not Jamaican statistics. Maybe you can find Jamaican also through Statin or some other um, like labor ministry or something like that. I'm sure you can find some things like this from them. So first, only 36% are completing it, and from there, it's little number, 55% of employees think that it was unfair or inaccurate, and 1 in 4 said they dread such evaluations more than anything else in their working lives. Why is that? Why people dread this evaluation? Because maybe the evaluators don't know how to, really give feedback, because no matter how bad the person is, there are some good qualities in them. And I was reading some research, they were saying that for every one negative comment you are going to make on someone, you should strive to make 7 or 6 positive comments, something like that. Yeah. So for example, if I'm going to tell you guys that you don't read and you are not interested in coming to class, and look at the number of participants, or whatever, only 4 participants now, and I start going after you guys and giving you negative feedback like that. I should find 7 other good things to say. So maybe friends are focusing on the coursework right now, or they were not able to maybe um, time manage properly, and they decided that they will focus on completing coursework, and they are watching the pre-recordings, and they are only interested in maybe looking at the coursework, the course content per se, and maybe they are not interested in this type of learning, or maybe they want to watch this recording later on because they know that everything will be recorded, so why to come in live class? So these are some of the positives. So it is on me to think how I think about all these things, and what I say and what I don't say to you guys. When senior HR executives were asked about their biggest performance management challenge, 63 cited managers' inability or unwillingness to have difficult feedback discussions. Yeah, and it is hard. It is hard. Uh, think about some difficult discussion you had with someone in the recent past, with your family member, with mommy, daddy, some difficult, or some friends, or with school, some difficult conversation, like where they are saying something else and you are saying something else. Um, it's not easy. It's like it's you are saying something and other person is saying something, and you cannot convey what you are trying to say, and they are unable to understand your true meaning of the words which you are using. Maybe they associate the words you are using, they don't understand that word in the same way. For example, you use the word criticism, and maybe the audience view is that criticism is just a negative word, or you use discrimination, or you use stereotyping, and the audience think that stereotype is always bad. But in international business management, stereotyping is not always bad. There are, you can use stereotyping to your advantage. That is why you will see a very beautiful, good looking girl uh, with the features which Jamaicans maybe think are better good looking, with the skin tone which maybe Jamaicans think that is a better skin tone, on the front desk of the top hotels in Montego Bay. Let's say you can go there and you will see that on the front desk they have certain looking people uh, who are there. Why they are chosen? Of course, they have talent. I'm not saying that it is talent, but it is not just talent. It is looks also, because they will be greeting customers. So looks are. You might now say that looks. Why someone should be selected for looks? It is not fair. Yes, it is maybe not fair, but this is how it is. So the company has stereotyped that this type of looking people, if we will put on the front desk, then the customer will feel better. So this is what it is. So they are using stereotyping for their advantage. But on the other hand, stereotyping is not good. So I am not promoting stereotyping, but I understand that stereotyping is a very interesting technique to use in your own advantage. People get impressed by looks and the voice quality and the facial features and the skin tone. This is how it is. You and me also get influenced by these things, knowingly or unknowingly, although we will say that the world is fair, but still these things happen. So if you are having a conversation, difficult conversation about stereotyping, another person don't understand yourself, then think how difficult it would be. Now, if you are trying to give some feedback where you want the other person to change their habits or change the way they are going to do it, you can imagine how difficult it would be, because the other person is going to become defensive. They are going to say, no, 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 what are you saying? You don't know. I know what I'm doing. All of those things are going to happen. Um, it would be just like someone from you would say something that why you have selected this article. I don't see the link it has with international business management. So the first trigger can be that I might get defensive, and I might start saying you don't know, but that is wrong feedback. you should I should laugh about it, and I should say, okay, what is it in this article which makes you think that it is not linked with international business management? It is linked with feedback, and without feedback, how you plan to grow your business? You need to take feedback from your customer. You need to get feedback from employees, and then work on that feedback and take that feedback and incorporate it in your business or in your personality. All of those things. So uh, these things you need to really think about. Coaching and mentoring, uneven at best. Yeah. So quite hard. Most companies try to address these problems by training leaders to give feedback more effectively and more often. This is very interesting and very close to my heart also. Training. Yeah, training. Yeah. uh, training. Let's run a Google search. Just training. um, do training really train people? I'm just writing, something is coming in my mind, and just uh, um, yeah. So you will see that there are questions like, can you really train soft skills? uh, can people be trained? Those type of things. And you will see many things in the material, that many people will say that maybe, uh, maybe training is, people go through training, but it is not necessary that they will also get that that they will people go through training, and even after training they will not be trained. Yeah. Like for example, this is a training session, how to get feedback, but after this training session, do you think that everyone will know how to take and give feedback? No. Yeah. Or the training which happens in the corporate world, is it that people get training and then they are trained just by training? Is the training enough? uh, uh, like if you let's say you say training does not work. It's just randomly, I'm just experimenting, uh, because we are just few people in the class, so even if all of you will start saying something, I should be able to manage that. Where companies go wrong with learning and training. Why leadership training? See, this is very nice. This is very nice. This is what we were looking for. Why leadership training fails? So just this question alone tells us that there must be some information which tells us that leadership training fails. That is why they are posing the question why leadership training fails. If there was a scene where leadership training would never fail, then Harvard Business Review would not have asked this question, that why leadership training fails. So training fails, but why? And what to do about it? Is very interesting article worth looking at for us also. Maybe I will look at it later and see if I want to, maybe in one of the discussions I want to talk about this. The idea is that many companies go through training and all of those things, but companies spend billions on programs that do not pay off. Beautiful. Yeah, billions of programs on programs that don't pay off. So why is training? Why it does not work? So it's very interesting to reflect on. And most companies try to address these problems by training leaders to give feedback more effectively and more often. But the question here is training them is enough? Is training going to train people? If that were the case, you could just pick people and train them, and there would be no issues with, for example, you would be satisfied with customer service all over Jamaica or wherever you are. But that is not the case. It's very interesting to reflect on these things. I think some friends want to, I heard some noise. Anyone want to say something, or please go ahead.
I was saying that sometimes the training is not geared towards particular people. We all have different learning styles.
Yes,
So if they
yes.
tailor it one way, another person doesn't want to benefit from the training, but they can't really grasp the concept that way.
Yes, very interesting. That can be one of the reasons. Like everyone learns differently. They have their own, requirements of training and so on. So even like training is like, to me personally speaking, I think it's like, you people spend like too much emphasis that, oh, training, give them any problem, give them training, give them training. Not necessarily, because training is maybe not the solution. You need to understand first that why, what is the problem, underlying problem, and then understand, is it some problem which can be solved by training or not. But many times companies don't do that, and that is maybe one reason that billions on programs are spent. And because training is not cheap, you're going to bring some trainer who is like, was going to charge you good amount of money and all of those things, and then you can get frustrated also, that you say, oh, I gave training to my workers and they are not learning, and you know all that. That's fine as far as it goes. Everyone benefits when managers are better communicators, but improving the skills of the giver won't accomplish much if the receiver is not able to absorb what is said. So receiver should be ready. Receiver should be ready to absorb in that time, uh, because message is, I can say whatever I can say, but will you take it or not? You will take it when you will be ready. So I cannot like give you my knowledge right now if you are not ready. You have to be like thinking about these things, and then maybe putting in questions for all of us to answer, or giving some story for us to reflect on, that, oh, that thing happened when I was giving feedback, this happened in that situation, why do you think that happened? Maybe someone can pose that question. or anything like that. Yeah, think about those things. It is the receiver who controls whether feedback is let in or kept out, who has to make sense of what he or she is hearing, and who decides whether or not to change. It is the receiver. Just like you, who is the receiver right now? I am receiver and you are also receiver. But most of the time, maybe you are receiver. You are receiving what I am saying. But it is, you are going to decide on these things. I can just share these thoughts about feedback, but you are going to decide if you are going to spend some time and incorporate these mechanisms in your life, in your personality, to become a to so you can become a better manager or better human being who can give good feedback, and people are eager to take their feedback or become influential. Because if you give feedback and people started taking it, you are becoming influential. And that is what you need to become in international business. Because there are many international businesses, many, but not all of them are a billion-dollar company. Very few are, or not many are as established as others. Yeah, so why, what is their mechanism which they use to take and give and feedback? So don't, although this article is like on a one-to-one person, but think about it on the company level also, because companies are collection of people. If you think about that, people need to stop treating feedback only as something that must be pushed, and instead improve their ability to pull. Very interesting. For the past 20 years, we have coached executives on difficult conversations, and we have found that almost everyone, from new hires to C suite veterans, struggles with receiving feedback. Yeah, this is, not everyone can take feedback. Not people say that give us feedback, but many times they want to just get validation. A true feedback, not everyone can take it. It's not easy because it will have some form of criticism. But think about it, if you will not be able to take feedback, and if you are not able to take criticism, harsh criticism, which is sometimes unfair also, then my question is that how you are going to improve, how you will make people comfortable around you, can just tell you whatever the little dark side they see in your personality or areas of improvement. How they will be always scared, because whenever they tell you something, you get angry and you say, well, you are telling me these things, have you ever looked at yourself, how bad you are? That is how people sometimes react. Yeah. So um, but very easy to say these things as we are looking at this article. To implement them is the difficult thing. And that is why we have selected this article. A critical performance review, a well-intended suggestion, or an oblique comment that may or may not even be feedback. Well, your presentation was certainly interesting, can spark an emotional reaction, inject tension into the relationship, and bring communication to a halt. Yeah. But there is good news too. The skills needed to receive feedback well are distinct and learnable. Yeah. It is not something which cannot be learned. And I don't have to teach you or something like that. As a matter of fact, I never teach. I just share my ideas, and you teach yourself whatever you want to teach yourself. And on the way, if you want to ask me something, of course, and I can ask you something, of course, and we learn from each other experience. It is you who going to decide on this that you want to learn this or not. They include um, being able to identify and manage the emotions triggered by the feedback, and extract value from criticism even when it is poorly delivered. So the delivery is on the other person. You can't do much. Maybe they don't know well how to give criticism. And why you are getting upset about that? There must be something which you can extract from there. You extract what you want. Like, we meet like every session, we speak for like 1.5 hour, 2 hour, whatever time it is. You don't take everything. No, you should not. You have your own mind. You just listen and absorb what is being said, and then you sit back on your own and then you extract some value for yourself, what is fit in your environment, in your context, in your business, whatever you want to think about. Yeah. So don't, the idea here is that don't just disregard criticism because it is poorly delivered, or the tone of the person was not good, or they were like yelling or shouting. And that is very hard to do, because when someone is talking angrily with you in anger, then you also become kind of angry and you are not looking at the words. So that is what you want to learn, and they have said that these things are learnable. Why feedback does not register? You want to know this because this will help you that when you are giving feedback, then at that time it is, people register that. What makes receiving feedback so hard? The process strikes at the tension between two core human needs: the need to learn and grow, and the need to be accepted just the way you are. Yeah. Like you have heard this, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Not going for interview, just be yourself. That is a very good advice also, but it's not good also. You be yourself. If you are like, you should you should improve yourself to that level that when you are yourself, then your behaviors are acceptable. But if your behaviors are unacceptable and they don't fit with the culture or fit with the conversation, then being yourself is maybe something, some maybe can be the worst idea. So of course you be yourself, and you want to be accepted the way you are, and you don't want to change, and you want other people to change, all of that. But then how to grow? This is the, and they are saying this is the tension. This is the tension. There are two different needs on that. Yes, I think someone is making some comments or something. Uh, you can't see the, you can't see the screen now. You can you see the screen now? No. Okay, that's very strange. Can you see it now? I think you can see it now. Very good. Thanks for letting me know. Uh, you can. Let's confirm. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Thanks for confirming. Yeah. So if anything like that happen, you have to tell me that. Very good. Okay. Um, as a result, even a seemingly not a suggestion which does not make sense can leave you uh, feeling feeling angry, anxious, badly treated, or profoundly threatened. A hedge such as "don't take this personally" does nothing to soften the blow. Yeah, so you need to learn this, that are trying to say something negative to someone and you tell them don't take it personally, but this is what I think. But people generally take things personally. They should not. They should not, but all of us, we take things personally. So you need to, if you want to be successful in this field, in the field of international business management, you should start thinking that you should start becoming a type of person who don't take things personally. And I gave you example of that. Like if someone criticize me, the way I look at it is that they are not criticizing me, they are criticizing this habit of mine. This is my habit, and they are criticizing that habit. They are not criticizing me. So this type of thinking has helped me to improve myself over a period of time. But then this will require a disattachment of yourself from your habits. So, and then you say we are what we do. So I'm, for example, I'm having this session with you. So maybe I'm a facilitator. Yeah. So they become so much closed with, emotionally closed with the, linked with the job of facilitator, that any attack on their facilitating style, they think that it is an attack on them. But that is not how it is. Like you are, let's say you are a participant in the discussion, or you are a student in the discussion. but I don't talk with you as a participant or student, because you are not just a student, you are also teacher. And how you are teacher? Just a while ago, you Joe taught me that your screen is not being shared or something like that. What was that? So at that point, who was the teacher and who was the student? Yeah. So we what I'm trying to say, that in many times we get so much, like we get identified by our job or work too much. But we are not just our job, we are beyond that. You are not just a student. You If someone asks you what do you do, so you might say you are a student, and that is what. So your personality is identified as a student right now, but you are not just that, you are beyond that. So if you are able to have that type of disintegration with your from your job or what you do, then you won't be feeling too much attacked when people are criticizing some of your job function. You will look, because you look at both, you look at yourself and your job from different lens. So if you criticize me on something which I am doing right now, so I will understand that you are not criticizing me. You are criticizing that aspect of the job. But then it is hard to do. And of course, I am also learning and I'm not perfect in that. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. But that is what it is all about. It is all this discussion is about continuous improvement, continuous learning, and that is why feedback is important and so on. Giving better, Getting better at receiving feedback starts with understanding and managing those feelings. You might think there are 1,000 ways in which feedback can push your buttons, but in fact, there are only three. Yeah, so what are those three buttons? Yeah, very interesting. Truth triggers are set off by the content of the feedback. Like, is it true or is it false? This is allegation on me, or the person who is saying this is correct. When assessments or advice seem off base, unhelpful, or simply untrue, you feel indignant, wronged, and exasperated. Yeah, these type of feelings you start getting, like, this accusation on me. So you want to be, maybe be careful about not triggering any of these emotions. Relationship triggers, and I'm sure you have experienced that, like people you are involved with, you're like emotionally connected, your family members, close friends, and that type of thing, are tripped by the person providing the feedback. Exchanges are often colored by what you believe about the giver. He's got no credibility on this topic, and how you feel about your previous interactions. That is also very important. Previous interactions. After all I have done for you, I get this petty criticism. After all we have done for you, you are saying that we don't love you or something like that, coming from family members or something like that. Yeah. So you might reject coaching that you would accept on its merit if it came from someone else. Yeah. So but because it was relationship triggers, it kind of put you off track. So truth triggers, relationship triggers, and identity triggers. And the example I was giving you, maybe that can link with identity triggers a while ago, about like disintegrating yourself from your job. You are not just your job, you are something else. Are all about your relationship with yourself, whether the feedback is right or wrong, wise or witless. It can be devastating if it causes your sense of who you are to come undone. In such moments, you will struggle with feeling overwhelmed, defensive. Yes, I have experienced that myself. I don't know which ones you have experienced, defensive or off balance. All these responses are natural and reasonable. This word reasonable, you need to think about this. And it is not that if someone is feeling like that, this is something is wrong with that. This is general human psychology. People are going to react like that. But then we need to now find out that how to give feedback without getting them triggered on these levels. We need to find the right words, right atmosphere, all of that. In some cases, they are unavoidable. The solution is not to pretend you don't have them, it is to recognize what's happening and learn how to derive benefit from feedback, even when it sets off one or many of triggers. So the goal, the eye is on the goal, and the goal is to take out something of value from the feedback. That is the goal, instead of criticizing. So you might not be enjoying whatever I'm saying, all of these things which I have said in the last half an hour. It can be the case that someone is listening and they are saying, what a waste of time, I'm not enjoying that. That is fine, but the thinking should be that, okay, I don't like it, but there must be something which I can take from this thing which I don't like. So you don't like this discussion or this article, that is fine. You don't have to, and you will not like all the articles and all the things I am saying, and I should not expect that from you also. But the idea is that you should be able to extract something of value from this. So same way, when someone is criticizing, you don't like criticism, I also don't like criticism, of course, but I understand that if I want to improve myself there, I should be able to extract something. And that it's very easy to say, but you have to bring a lot of changes in your personality and how you view various things. It's a big shift which you would have to make, and over a period of time maybe you will be able to do that. Okay, so let's go in the meat of the article, 6 steps to becoming a better receiver. So as you would recall, the article is about the right ways to receive feedback. Yeah, so when someone is giving feedback, how to receive it. So there are 6 areas in that. So in next 1 hour we would like to cover them, and then maybe as I'm speaking about these things, please, participate in the discussion, and maybe share your own point of view also if it is possible, and so on. Okay, taking feedback well is a process of sorting and filtering. You need to understand the other person's point of view, try on ideas that may at first seem a poor fit. So the idea is try on ideas. In the first, they are not going to, for example, I ask you that, reflect or write a journal or listen to the pre-recording. After that, write your thoughts. What do you think? What is your feedback? What would you like to learn more? What excited you? What did not excite you? All of that is journal. Yeah. So you might say, what is that? I don't like this. And many people, I'm sure, they are not going to like it. Or I asked you make the video of whatever, and you don't like, for various reasons, you don't like it. But the idea is that you try, and you see, what, how I have to do it, but how I can do it that it maybe stands out, or maybe I will learn something from it. Yeah, I will learn how to write a good journal, and if I continue that practice in my life, over a period of time I might learn new things by reflection, learning on my own, instead of someone teaching me, or I'm dependent on other people. By my own journal, I can see how my ideas got the growth over a period of time. Yeah, so I would also have, my recollections or something like that. But not everyone writes journal. Yeah. I don't write journal, but I know what are the benefits of writing journal. I get those same benefits by doing something else. Yeah, so I do other things now, but there was a time when I was writing journal also. I wrote it, and then I saw what are the benefits. Same way, the exercise. But I'm saying many people would disregard that experience. They will say, oh, I don't enjoy it and whatever, without trying it. Same thing happens with criticism. When people more experienced from you, your mentors who have more knowledge, they are going to tell you some things which you don't agree. It is just like your parents. Do you agree with all the things which your parents say? And you say, okay, my parents are smart and I will just do what. Yes, maybe you do, but many times people don't reject the ideas. And then over a period of time they learn, oh, mummy said this and she was right, I should have listened to mummy or daddy or whoever, who are guardians or whatever, grandparents or something like that. So it is about trying, same lens I'm trying to say, that same type of attitude, please try to develop that on criticism. Yeah. And experiment with different ways of doing things. You also need to discard or shelf critique that are genuinely misdirected or are not helpful right away. But it's nearly impossible to do any of those things from inside a triggered response. When you are triggered because of some truth imbalance, some relationship imbalance, or identity triggers, then it is very hard to distinguish between what is genuine critique and which one is not, because we are now emotionally triggered. Yeah. So that is why it is very important to understand your emotions and have control on them. Otherwise, people do things, some things, and they later on they regret those things. Why? Because they did those things because they were, at that moment they were emotionally charged. Yeah. Yeah. So same thing now you can say that what is the relevance with international business management of all this? There's very much relevance because you are sitting in some negotiation with some international market. You are sitting on the table and they say something about your culture. They say Jamaica is a land of water wood and this. No, Jamaica is a land of criminals. Jamaica is the land of scammers. Yeah. If they say this now, you are, of course, this is our identity. We love our country. Of course, we can get triggered and we say, what are you talking about? How dare you say these things about my country? Something like that. Yeah. So what is your, you take easy there, there's no problem. You say yes, what you are saying is correct also. That also happens in Jamaica. Crime rate is high. Yes, you are right. You ask them what can we do to reduce crime rate in Jamaica? What do you think? Give us some suggestions. Which country you come from? How is the crime rate there? And you will find that there is some level of high crime in all countries. There is no country which is free of crime rate. There is no country in the world. United States, no, there is crime rate. There is high number of rapes in US. So you, instead of what I'm trying to say, getting provoked by what someone is saying, you take it easy there and you change the direction of the thing. How that will happen? When you will have control on your emotions. Otherwise you can get triggered there, and that is not, you have to be international market, you have to be cool about many things. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to make your point without getting angry, without making your voice higher, because without getting emotionally triggered. And let me tell you, it is very hard. And I myself am not very like don't think that I am someone who is very non-emotional. I also get emotional and all of those things, and you know, I get triggers from these things. Yeah, they are triggers, truth triggers, relationship triggers. I get triggered also, but it is work in progress. And over a time, I have realized that there is no benefit unnecessarily getting these triggers. You should be a little chill about these things. It is hard, but you practice them, and if the situation really requires you to get triggered, then yes, of course, if you feel that. But it's not always worth it. Uh, yeah. So think about these things. But it's nearly impossible to do any of these things from insiders. Okay, we have looked at it. Um, Instead of ushering you into a nuanced conversation that will help you learn, your triggers prime you to reject, counterattack, and withdraw. Yeah. So the example I gave you, that someone says something about your homeland, the land we love, and going to reject and counterattack or withdraw. That's not smart negotiation. That's not smart. You should be able to, in that situation, you should be able to defend your country or whatever it is without getting angry. And you can do that if you, if, because think about it, when do people get angry? They get angry when they cannot deal the situation normally. So they start becoming angry because they can't deal in a normal way. So they don't have the answer of the question and they start getting angry and frustrated. You say, what is that? So a person who knows the answer and how to react, they don't get angry. So that quality is linked with feedback, criticism. People are going to criticize you all the time. Should be able to deal with the situation, extract the value. Whenever someone is criticizing you, your focus should be that what can I learn from this? Yes, the person is stupid. If the person is stupid, okay, fine, but no need to tell the person that the person is stupid. You just see what you can extract. There must be something which you can learn from that. It can be just the thing that the way this person gives feedback is not a good way to feedback, because this is now I feel because of the bad feedback. So you learn something. When you are going to give feedback, don't do that which the person did with you. So you learn something. Yeah. Anyways, the 6 steps below will keep you from throwing valuable feedback onto the discard pile or just as damaging. Accepting and acting on comments that you would be better off disregarding. As they are presented as advice to the receiver, but of course, understanding the challenges of receiving feedback helps the giver to be more effective too. So it is both way. Although the article is that uh, right ways to receive feedback, you can also learn same time how to give feedback. So it is not just receive, but they have played it as receive. Know your tendency, know yourself, know how you react in different situations. It's very, very, very important, knowing yourself, how you react. You might think that you know yourself, but until and unless you go into those situations, those circumstances, you don't really know yourself. So you need to, like, for example, you might think, like, I think me and Jode were talking last class, that she would want to go international market or something like that for work experience or something like that. But maybe she thinks that she can go, and in the external market she can go and she will be able to adjust and perform and whatever. But we don't know that. She might think that she is able to go and adjust in the international market, but she will only know that when she will go there. Yeah. And I can give you experience. Like, I went to UK for my studies, and before going there I was 100% sure I will be fine and I'm okay with making new friends and living in new places. And I did it. I selected the country with my choice. I selected everything my choice. There was no pressure or anything. And when I went there and I started living there, like, I knew it was cold, but when I started living there I realized that I'm not maybe someone who is maybe too much comfortable with this cold. Although I stayed there for a good while and I enjoyed everything, but then because we are used to temperate climates and stuff like that, I was missing this type of temperate climate where it's not that cold, of course. So how you know that? How I knew that? Did not, now you can say, did not you look at the temperatures? Everyone knows it is cold in UK. Yes, I knew, but I did not have the experience. So when I knew the experience, then I knew my tendencies, that what really happens and all of that thing. Yes, I knew. So same way you have learned many things in your undergraduate and all of that. You have done, like, you would do like 30 courses on different areas. International business is just one of the courses you are doing. Uh, so would that make you a international business manager? Doing this course is going to make you international business manager? Is that what you are thinking? I don't think so. It will give you some of the frameworks, but unless and until you don't do it practically, then how you will know? So what I'm trying to say, that know your tendencies, not just by thinking that this is how you will react, by experience. So put yourself into different experiences to know your real tendencies. That is what I'm trying to say. You have been getting feedback all your life, so there are no doubt patterns in how you respond. Do you defend yourself on the facts, argue about the method of delivery, or strike back? So you know that now. I don't know what you do, and you don't know what I do, but we know that what we do. Do you strike back? Do you What do you do? Do you smile on the output outside but see the seeth on the inside? You like, you resent inside and you are smiling outside. Do you get teary or filled with righteous in indignation? Yeah. Some people start crying, you tell them something and they start crying. I had this experience personally. I was telling something to some person on campus, and they got teary eyes and they started crying. And I was just talking like this, like I'm trying to explain you something, but somehow they did not, they could not take it. Yeah. So now I don't do that myself, or I don't have experienced that, so I did not know. But yes, people do that. Um, so I'm not blaming the other person, of course. I'm maybe. So what I learned from that situation, that maybe next time I should be more careful about that. Although I knew that whatever I said was correct, and there was nothing wrong in what I said or in my intention, but still, I said to myself that next time I need to be more careful. And I tried to understand why the person got teary eyed and what really happened. And they explained me a little bit, and I got an idea why that happened. And in my head, I was thinking that there was no need to get teary eyed, but I did not say that to other person. I said, yes, okay, because different people are going to react differently. So you might go in international market and you say something, and people might get teary eyes and you would say, "Oh, I did not mean that." Yeah, people are people. Yeah. And what role does the passage of time play? This is very interesting. Passage of time. Time is something very interesting to reflect on. It is time, feedback, and time. So one suggestion which I can give you, if you would want, is that you take feedback and put it somewhere in a journal or somewhere, and over a period of time keep on looking at it. And that can also sometimes helps us to take that feedback when we are ready. And I have done this in my life also. Any feedback I get, I have been putting it in a journal, like I would not rewrite it just the way I got it. I would keep on putting it somewhere and then revisit it after, maybe 1 year, 1.5 year, 1 year, because we are also growing. Our knowledge is increasing, our experience is increasing. So I would go back to that feedback. And I have seen it many times that the feedback which I did not agree at that point in time, after 1 year, 1.5 year, when I'm rereading it, it is making more sense to me. uh, I'm saying, oh, okay, all right, maybe, maybe I should try it. Yes, this portion is looks like an attack on myself, uh, but let me try it now. So when you are ready, at that time you would want to you want to think about that. um, I do that a lot for my like public speaking skills, uh, a lot from day one, uh, because of course we don't like to, generally speaking, public speaking is not easy, and we are like, is don't want to do it, and we try to stay away from from it. Most of the people, it's not something which people fancy. But So I would get different types of feedback. Of course, I've learned over a period of time how to maybe engage the audience or whatever, um, and still I'm learning on that. People would give me feedback, I will keep it, and uh, you know maybe even if I don't agree, I will keep it. And because I know that when I will look at it later, I will try to take something from that. And sometimes people will just make some type of criticism or anything, which, like, because of my exposure in international markets, I also do talks in the international market. So it's different type of people react very differently to your thing. They take different messages. The same article which I am doing with you, I say the same things in some other market, they are going to take it maybe differently. Uh, Although you can say it is the same article. So passage of time, I think, time sometimes. So same goes for giving feedback. Why when you give feedback to someone, please pay attention to this. Why when you give any feedback to someone, why do you want that they should change right away and take your feedback right away and agree with you right away? Why is that need? No, you give feedback and then give them time and space, and they will learn in their own time. Don't like force the feedback on people. But that is what people do, especially with their children. They say no, do it like this, and then what children do they listen to parents then? Yes, for a time being, until the time they are like, they are not adult. Once they become adult and they start their own life, and they are like, then it's hard to make them follow your feedback. Do you tend to reject feedback in the moment and then step back and consider it over time? Yeah, I do that sometimes. But I don't reject the feedback, of course. I take the feedback in the moment and then step back and I will consider it over a period of time. Like if you tell me something, okay, all right, this, what do you think about this? And you share your opinion that maybe this thing should be done like this. So I won't reject it. I would not agree. I would won't reject. I will take it. I'll say, okay, yes, your point seems interesting, and I'm going to think about it, and I will think about it over a period of time. And if your point of view, I thought that it will improve myself, I will take your point. I will not make it an issue that no, I should not take the point because it is not my point. And that is how international businesses grow. They go for not who is saying what they are, not who is saying, they go for what is being said. Yeah. Do you accept it all immediately but later decide it's not valid? This is very interesting and funny also. Like you will take the feedback and you will say, oh, good, 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 but later you are not going to do anything about it. Do you agree with it intellectually but have trouble changing your behavior? This is, many times this happens, and it has happened with me many times, that intellectually I would agree with the feedback. It can be any feedback, like the way I talk. Someone might say something to me, and intellectually I will say, yes, you are right. I should talk like that. But then it would require me to change my behavior. So, would I really change my behavior? Like, yeah, those type of things. When Michelle and an advertising executive hears his boss, Michael, I think, I'm sorry, hears his boss make an offhand joke about his lack of professionalism, it hits him like a sledgehammer. I am flooded with shame, he told us, and all my failings rush to mind as if I'm Googling things wrong with me and getting 1.2 million hits with sponsored ads from my father and my ex. In this state, it's hard to see the feedback at actual size. But now that Michael understands his standard operating procedure, he's able to make better choices about where to go from there. And this is what you want to do. You want to reflect in your own life that how do you react to feedback or criticism, and then find a way that what you need to do so that you can get the you can get some benefit from the criticism and so on. It is hard. It will not just it will not happen in next 40 minutes, and as we finish the article you will be a new person. No, it's not going to happen like that. You will have to reflect on these things, maybe go through this article again and spend some time with yourself, and over a period of time maybe you will learn how to give and take feedback, because these things need to come from your heart. It is not that I will say something and you will say okay, you will be a change person. It does not happen like that. It takes time and effort. I can reassure myself that I am exaggerating, and usually after I sleep on it, I am in a better place to figure out whether there is something I can learn or not. So, what we are learning here is don't just disregard anything and everything, sleep on it sometimes. Disentangle the what from who, and I think I mentioned it a while ago. Like it is not who is saying, generally it should be focused, should be what is being said, what is the idea which is being given. But it is very hard to do because we get influenced by personalities. So it matters to us that who is the person who is saying it, who is the it is not the we don't look at the case, we look at the face behind the case. Yeah, in other words, but don't look at the face behind the case. Focus on the case, what is being said. Uh, and if you are getting influenced by who is saying it, then there is a bias in your thinking. So try to remove that bias, because then when someone that who will be giving you some suggestion, you will be just taking that suggestion without just looking at that suggestion, without the who, just looking at that suggestion. That you need to learn. Like your lecturer is something and you are saying, oh, it's my lecturer, so must know what he's talking about. No, why lecturer must know? Lecturer know what they know. What you need to now think about this without getting influenced by who is saying it. Even this article which we are looking at, we can get influenced that is published in Harvard Business Review, written by top scholars. Everything must be right. Why everything must be right? Why? Everything is not always right. If everything were right, then someone would have written a book on how to become successful in international business, and everyone would just read that book and become successful in international business. There is no such book like that. Why there is no? If these people know everything, then why they don't write a book like that? So we don't have to do this course and nothing like that, and don't reflect and don't make journal and don't do anything, just get that book, follow that book, and okay. No, there is nothing like that. There is no one recipe. If there was one recipe, then the world would be very different. Yeah. So anything including this article and other articles, you ask yourself what fits in your situation, in your international business, or your mechanism of taking feedback. If the feedback is on target and the advice is wise, it should not matter who delivers it, but it does. It should not matter, but it does. So how to minimize that bias? That is what you want to think about. When a relationship triggers is activated, and twinning the content of comments with your feelings about the giver, or about how, when, or where she delivered the comments, learning is short circuited. I like this word. Of course, it is short circuited. To keep that from happening, you have to work to separate the message from the messenger and then consider both. And it's hard, but learn to do that. Janet, a chemist and a team leader at pharmaceutical company, received glowing comments from her peers and superiors during her 360-degree review, but was surprised by the negative feedback she got from her direct reports. She immediately concluded that the problem was theirs, not hers. I have high standards, and some of them cannot handle that. She remembered thinking, they are not used to someone holding their feet to the fire. In this way, she changed the subject from her management style to her subordinates' competence, preventing her from learning something important from the impact she had on others. It is just like that you fail the course. You fail the course. And I say that it is your fault. You don't learn. Maybe that is true, but that is not how I look at it. When you fail, I'm going to see what I could do differently so they could pass. Maybe I did something in a different way which made them fail the course. Yeah. What is that thing? So instead of putting blame on you that you are not learning or you are not coming to sessions or whatever, and that is true. You are not coming to sessions. It's not lie. If I say you are not coming to sessions, this is correct. But what am I going to gain from that? You are not coming, you are not coming. What am I going to gain from that? I will gain when I will reflect on myself and I will try to do something differently. Yeah. So that should be the thinking about feedback. I hope you will think about these things because essentially I am sharing my life with you. If you think about that, eventually the penny dropped. Janet says, I came to see that whatever it was, their performance problems or my leadership problems, those were not mutually exclusive issues and both were worth solving. She was able to disentangle the issues and talk to her team about both wisely. Wisely. So a wise person is going to do that. If you will, if when I will look at when you fail and I look at it myself instead of you, that is a sign of being wise because everyone will like to blame others. When something happens, they say, "Oh, he's a stupid person. You are stupid. You don't know how to learn. You don't. You is no. That is a separate thing. You look to yourself and try to see something and over a period of time if I have tried to improve myself and I've reached to a place where I say okay now I have seen it like it works and then if someone is not not working well with that in that environment then of course you can take action but in the initial stages of when you are trying to make something of your personality like all of us are we have not seen the whole world we all of us have a lot to learn all of us so in this stage we need to be open to criticism if someone says oh this is wrong with you okay laugh about it ask them how I can improve ask them how I can improve instead of saying you are wrong why can't you just ask even if you don't agree with the criticism even if you don't agree with the criticism just ask okay how I can improve like to me my style of engaging you is fine to me it is fine but let's say you guys say that oh this is not fine so instead of saying that you don't know and I know why don't I laugh about it and I say okay this style is not good what style should I have so I ask you that and I learn something about it and then I maybe do 1 2 sessions using that style no problem yeah so that is feedback you take it open instead of just being defensive and over a period of time you will see that you are becoming better and better with every feedback even without you really thinking or knowing about it um, okay third is sought toward coaching some feedback is evaluated your rating is a 4 yeah so for example teaching evaluations are like that the evaluation which you will do for me like at the end of the course I'm not sure if they do it for summer but I think they do it for every yes I think they do it you guys so you guys will be rating me so there will be a 4 or 4.5 or 5 or something like that yeah so Some is coaching. Here is how you can improve. Yeah. So one is rating. You are giving rating to the lecturers, for example. And then in that, I think there are some questions also where you can write something, so that the ratings would be this evaluation rating, and then the next will be coaching. So in your evaluation, you also have a chance to coach me, for example. So in that section where you say where which areas you like, which you did not like, so you are writing which area you did not like, and in that you are maybe giving some suggestion how to improve. Or maybe you will write an email to me that okay, did it like this, maybe next time you can try this. Did you try that? Did you try that? Yeah. And I, so that, what is that? That is coaching. Coaching. Yeah. Everyone needs both. Yeah. So it's not just rating the person that this 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 is like not just the scores. We should also maybe write couple of lines, not a lot of lines, maybe just couple of lines, because everyone is not open to evaluation. So like when you will be sending me your work, I might write 1 or 2 lines to each one of the person, just like something which I think is maybe they can look into that, some 1 or 2 lines. Yeah. Because if I write, like I can write more also, but let's say I write a paragraph and then it will be difficult for them to take. They'll say, oh my god, what is that? Yeah. So I will give maybe score also, like okay, you got a 60% or 65% or 70%. And I will also maybe write something that would be, so it would be evaluation and coaching, and that coaching should be in the light words maybe. And then if someone replies to me that something, and then maybe I can elaborate more also, maybe, or maybe I will not. Yeah. Because everyone is not ready to take, so it depends on if the person shows that. You need to see that also, that person is willing to take feedback or not really, how eager they are for to improve themselves. Or are they communicating just to get a better score? Sometimes students do that. So they don't like the score, so they want to talk about it to get more score. Yeah. So that is a wrong way to look at it. Score is separate thing, self improvement is separate thing. So a person who is going to take benefit from the feedback is generally a person who is not looking at the score. They are looking towards their next performance. They are saying, okay, what is done, not asking for more scores. But what do you think? How I could do it differently uh, to maybe get a better score? That is maybe one way to ask. And then they will take that feedback and then they will maybe think about that. Yeah. And then it depends on the person also, how is the person willing to give feedback or not. Because sometimes we don't want to give feedback also, like you will go for an interview, job market, go for interview. I'm sure you must have taken some interviews. Do they always tell you that what you did wrong or what they did not like? They don't tell you that. They just tell you that okay, we are not taking you for this job, thank you for coming. That's it. Ask them about the feedback, that why you are not taking me. And you are not going to get it unless you really know someone insider there who is maybe there is some connection and they might tell you, but no, they don't tell you. Yeah. So why? What is the reason? Because it's many times you need to spend time with yourself in terms of coach. Because when other people are telling you it, generally people get triggered, like the 3 triggers we talk about, identity and 2 other triggers. So then they fire back, and the person who is giving evaluation, they don't want to be in that situation. So at the end of the day, this tells us that your reactions are going to decide how much you are going to learn from other people. Your reactions, if you get defensive and all of that, then other person is going to stop. Why they would want to give you feedback? You are defensive. But if you are genuinely open to learning, other person is going to see that. So maybe they won't get feedback right away, but eventually you will. Maybe you will not learn from that person feedback, but eventually there are people who are going to come in your life, um, which are going to give you. But as I am talking, I am also reflecting on many examples in my own life. So from there, I want to maybe share with you that it is more like you need to coach yourself. You need to you need to be eager for that. You need to be hungry for that, for coaching, for feedback, for being mentored, finding new opportunities, improving yourself. No one else is going to really. People can't do that. Like, what can we do? What can I? We can just create a BBC link and ask people to come or not. But at the end of the day, it is you five guys who decided that you want to come. And so those who are not coming, there is recording for them. Can't do much unless I can do, like, I could have put in the coursework, I could have put that there are 10 marks for class attendance. So then I've seen in my previous sessions, when I put marks for attendance, people are there. I could have decided that 60 people are here. I could have done that. Yeah, but I did not want to do that, because I wanted just the people who are really interested in discussing these articles. They would come, and those who are not interested, it's okay, no problem. They don't want to do it. Why to force on them that they should do it? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is it's on yourself also. Your learning. Don't, like, UV cannot teach you. It's wrong concept that I am in school and school will teach me, or I am doing this course and the course will teach me. No, it's they cannot teach you. You have to learn. You have to engage with them to learn. You have to spend time. Same thing is with the feedback and all of these things. People are not just going to give you feedback and just like that. You need to sometimes unconscious feedback, like from the body language of the customer in international markets. Look, they might be speaking different language. How they are going to communicate with you if you are in a foreign market? You are looking at their facial expression, their body language, and you see that this person came to my shop and they did not like doing business with me, and then you go after it and try to really understand why why you did not like it. And the customer might not want to tell you because they don't care. They're going to buy the product from your competition. So it is in your interest to get feedback, and it is in your interest to improve on your feedback, not anyone else. Not anyone else. So think about these things. Please. Evaluations tell you where you stand, what to expect, and what is expected of you. Coaching allows you to learn and improve and helps you play at a higher level. So the idea, this is very nice word, at a higher level. So you want to play at a higher level, then you will think about these 6 pointers. It's not always easy to distinguish away from the other. When a board member phoned James to suggest that he start the next quarter CFO presentation with analyst predictions rather than internal projections, was that intended as a helpful suggestion, or was it veiled criticism of his usual approach? Yeah. So you guys telling me that instead of looking at this article, could you look at the book chapter and then link that book chapter to this article? So now it is up to me how I take that feedback. Yeah, I can take it as an opportunity to link the book chapter with this, which I can do that if you want. That is not a problem. But I could also look at it as a criticism on my style, that you are saying that this we don't like the the article style, because then Many reasons. Not everyone likes to read so many articles and stuff like that. People want like easy course and stuff like that. Uh, don't have to read all of these things. Yeah. When in doubt, people tend to assume the worst, to put even well intentioned coaching into the evaluation bin. Please make note of this. Yeah, and try to link it with the things I said like 5 minutes ago, the examples I was giving. This is what it is all about. Feeling judged is likely to set off your identity triggers, and the resulting anxiety can drown out the opportunity to learn, drown out the opportunity to learn. So, whenever possible, sought toward coaching. Work to hear feedback as potential valuable advice from a fresh perspective rather than as an indictment of how you have done things in the past. When James took that approach, the suggestions became less emotionally loaded. He says, I decided to hear it as simply an indication of how that board member might more easily digest quarterly information. But again, I'm reminding myself and you that it's very easy to say all of these things, to do them and to experience them and take the feedback from others without getting angry, without thinking negative things is very hard. So that is why it is good time to start now. Like your family members must be criticizing you for something, mommy, daddy, friends, whoever. So start putting these things in practice. So when they say something negative, which you think is negative and you think is a wrong accusation on you and it's allegation or it's unnecessary criticism or whatever, don't get angry, don't just relax. Take their point, think about it, reflect on it, and do start doing those things. When you will start doing those things, then you are getting experience. Same way when you will go in the work environment, which is more hostile, even if even if you don't go in international market, Jamaican market is not very easy. Let me be honest about that also. There is a lot of favoritism, there is a lot of politics, depending on which company you go. There's so many things, leg pulling and all of those things are part of our work culture here. So if you will have that practice coming from from now, then it might be a little easier for you to take their criticism when your boss is going to say something to you, and you will not feel unnecessarily, you will not feel insulted, because you know that the boss is criticizing one of your habit. He's not criticizing you or one of your actions or two of your actions. Even if the boss is criticizing 10 of your actions, you are more than those 10 actions. So that mindset we need to think about. It's very hard, it's not easy, but people who can do that type of thing, they go far uh, in business, in international business, in their daily life, whatever they are doing. Unpack the feedback. Often it's not immediately clear whether feedback is valid and useful. So before you accept or reject it, do some analysis to better understand it. Here is a hypothetical example. Kara, who is in sales, is told by John, an experienced colleague, that she needs to be more assertive. Her reaction might be to reject this his advice. I think I'm pretty assertive already. Or uh, ac- acquiesce she might inquire, I really do need to step it up. But before she decides what to do, she needs to understand what he really means. Yeah, so whenever someone is giving you feedback, instead of getting angry about it, this is a good question to ask, that okay, can you elaborate on that, or what you really mean, or can you explain it more further, or can you tell me how I can do that, or what did I do which made you think that I am not very assertive? In which situations you think you saw that? that type of conversation. Does he think she should speak up more often, or just with greater conviction? Yeah. Should also smile more or less? Okay. Yeah. We don't know that. Have the confidence to admit she does not know something, or the confidence to pretend she does. See, so it's a simple thing. Be more assertive, but there can be many meanings to that. Yeah. So many times people will just disregard it on this stage when someone will say, be more this, be more X, be more Y, and if they think they already have that characteristic in their personality, they are going to uh, just not consider that uh, suggestion or feedback or opinion. So don't do that. Ask, maybe follow up. If it, of course, if it is worth it. If the person is not worth it and you don't think that they have any good to say and their past record tells you that they are always complaining or something like that, of course, then you are going to engage the person naturally. You are going to engage them in a different way, uh, but still, I would say that even from the worst criticism, uh, there is always something which can be learned. Just like they say that you can learn from anyone, anyone. You can learn from even the person who did not go to school or who does not know much. You can learn something from them also. But that is up to you to decide how you would want to look at it. Even the simple advice to be more assertive comes from a complex set of observations and judgment that John has made while watching Kara in meetings and with customers. Yes, complex set of observations. Kara needs to dig into the general suggestion and find out what in particular prompted it. So Kara will be doing the work. Yeah, is the person who wants to improve themselves. They don't look at outside environment and outside people. They take the responsibility of their learning to improve themselves. Only then they improve. People who are looking outside, they generally, I don't think they go far. What did John see her do or fail to do? What did he expect, and what is he worried about? In other words, there is the feedback. Where is the feedback coming from? All of these type of questions. These are just there to get you started, but of course you can make your own list for these type of situations. Kara also needs to know where the feedback is going, exactly what John wants her to do differently, and why. After a clarifying discussion, she might agree that she is less assertive than others on the sales floor, but disagree that with the idea that she should change. So at the end of the day, she can decide what she wants to do, but at least don't disregard it just like that. Sleep over it. Think about it. If all her sales heroes are quiet, humble, and deeply curious about customers' needs, Tara's view of what it means to be good at sales might look and sound very different from uh, Joan's Glen Ross ideal. Uh, this is I think some movie or some character in some movie. I think I've seen it somewhere. You can run a search on YouTube and see uh, what it is about. Uh, what it is about. Yes, it is very interesting. Yeah, I have seen this. You should watch this when you have time. Very very interesting style. As a matter of fact, in one of my classes, I use that clip also, like uh, human resource and motivation and those type of things. Very interesting. When you set aside snap judgments and take time to explore where feedback is coming from and where it is going, you can enter into a rich informative conversation about perceived best practices, whether you decide to take the advice or not. Number 5, ask for just one thing. It's also very important, because if there is too much feedback on too many fronts, then it can be very difficult for you to change, because then you will be working on so many different things simultaneously. It's more about one at a time. Focus on one and get it straight. Feedback is less likely to set off your emotional trigger if you request it and direct it. So don't wait until your annual performance review. Find opportunities to get bite sized pieces of coaching from a variety of people throughout the year. Don't invite criticism with a big, unfocused question like, do you have any feedback for me? Yeah, that's wrong. It has to be very targeted in which area, in which where are you focusing, which area you want to improve, in which context you want to improve, which for which audience you want to improve. All of those things you need to tell, or at least be able to discuss it with the person who is giving feedback, or your mentor or your coach. Make the process more manageable by asking a colleague, a boss, or a direct report, what is one thing you see me doing or failing to do that holds me back? What is that one thing which I can improve? What is that one thing? Like if I want to improve my lecturing style, I should ask you, what is that one thing which you think I should work on? What is that one thing? If I just ask you open, give me feedback on my lecturing, then you are going to go all over the place. You know, this is not right, this is not right, this is the problem, this is the problem, and I will get overwhelmed and I will just, I will say, forget about it. No. Say, what is that one thing which I can do to improve myself? What do you think? Just tell me one thing and tell me how to go about it. Yeah. So then it will be good feedback also, because then you will think like the 5 6 things which you may not like, then you will be hard pressed to say the thing which is most unlikable or needs more most growth, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah. That person may name the first behavior that comes to mind, or the most important one on his or her list. Either way, you will get concrete information and can tease out more specifics at your own time. Roberto, a fund man, you can read the example in your own time. I've given you some examples, so it is just an example here. Spend some time reading it. Research has shown that those who explicitly seek critical feedback, that is, who are not just fishing for praise, tend to get higher performance rating. Don't just ask, focus on your good things. Feedback, good, yes, of course, you are going to say, oh, I enjoyed your session because of this, this, this. Yes, that is fine, and thanks for that. But the idea is also to improve. So the idea is that it should improve every time. With every semester, it should improve. So in that, if I have that type of attitude, then 4 5 6 years down the line, the interactions will improve far. But if I only looking for praise, then maybe, you know it's not going to go far. But then people like praise. People like praise. People don't like to know about areas of improvement. People like if I praise you and I say, oh, very good, you guys are very good, you come to the session, very good, you are there all the time, even if I have to go 5 10 minutes over, you are there, so you are interested. This is all praise. So you will like it, you will like me. But if I tell you something like, oh, this was missing in your journal and this was missing in your video, you are not going to like it. You are going to say, what is going on here? Generally we like praises. Yeah. But if I tell you anything negative, it is not that I am targeting you. Just trying to make you think about one of your aspects. Yeah, that is what it is. Why mainly we think? Because someone who is asking for coaching is more likely to take what is said to heart and genuinely improve. But also because when you ask for feedback, you not only find out how others see you, you also influence how they see you. Soliciting constructive criticism communicates humility, respect, passion for excellence, and confidence all in one go. Yeah, when you have that type of, it shows your passion for excellence, of course. Otherwise, who is going to work on all of this feedback and all of that? No, you. if you are not passionate about improving yourself and really becoming the best uh, of yourself, only then you will be going through all of these things and controlling your emotions when people are saying negative things to you and so on. Only then the passion for excellence, passion to improve yourself. And the last one, engage in small experiments. And that is what I meant when I said with your friends, families, they are criticizing you, universities criticizing you, whatever, these are small experiments. This is not your real work environment where the stakes are very high because you are earning a livelihood, or it is not the real international business experience where if you don't perform well on the feedback you will be expelled from the market and your brand will, everyone will know bad things about your brand. It is not that. So that is why engage in small experiments from now, from as we are starting, as in next 5 6 7 minutes we will close this. From that moment, even from now, you want to start engaging in small experiments. Yeah, after you have worked to solicit and understand feedback, it may still be hard to discern which bits of advice will help you and which ones won't. Still will be hard. Yeah, the authors suggest designing small experiments to find out. Even though you may doubt that a suggestion will be useful, if the downside risk is small and the upside potential is large, it is worth a try. So please try out these things. An example is given, you can think about it. When someone gives you advice, test it out. If it works, great. If it does not, you can try again, tweak your approach, or decide to end the experiment. But at least put it in some journal, test it out, see how it goes. If it does not fit with your personality, tweak it, tweak your approach. After that, if you think you want to let go that and experiment something else, feel free to do that. But don't just disregard some feedback because you think that the person who is giving you does not like you, or the person is jealous from you, or you don't like the person, or it can be simple thing. Maybe you don't like the speaking style of the person, maybe you don't like their accent. It can be any small thing. We get triggered by these things even without knowing. Yeah. So what I am trying to say, don't get influenced by these things. And then this article has said it twice, I think at least, that we do get influenced by these things. So this is the catch here, that human beings do get influenced by all these various things. But the idea is that we don't get, we try to find a mechanism which works for ourselves, that we don't get influenced by just what is on the surface, the ability to look deep. Uh, that will also help you in general life. There are so many examples coming in my mind. I'm sure they are coming in your head also. But let's conclude. Criticism never easy to take. Yeah, never easy to take. Even when you know that it is essential to your development and you trust that the person delivering it wants you to succeed, it can activate psychological triggers. You might feel misjudged, ill used, and sometimes threatened to your very core. Yeah. We understand that this is going to happen. Your growth depends on your ability to pull value from criticism in spite of your natural responses and your willingness to seek out even more advice and coaching from bosses, peers, and subordinates. Yeah? So, natural responses. You want to improve your natural responses towards criticism when mummy, daddy, friends, family, whoever around you, they criticize you. So you want to have right natural responses. You're not going to get defensive or angry, or you want to use that criticism to your advantage, to how you can improve, what you can do, and you will test it and work it and all of these things which they mentioned here. And then at the end of the day, if you decide you don't want to take that advice, that is fine. There's nothing is wrong in that. They may be good or bad at providing it, or they may have little time for it, but you are the most important factor in your own development. Please remember that. No one is responsible for your development. If you think that you are paying to UV and they should ensure that you learn everything about international business management in this course, yes, they should. I'm not saying they should not. I should also try my best to explain whatever I can, and I'm doing that. But but the most important factor in your own development is you. You, the moment you decided that yes, I am going to improve myself, I am going to start looking at feedback differently, and I won't just look at like it's not criticism, it's an opportunity for me to grow and improve. Everything will change, and then with that personality, when you will go in an international market, when people are going to say different things to you which you are not prepared you, because you now have the personality to deal with that type of thing, so you will be able to communicate with them. And because naturally, generally, people get offended when they get those triggers, and when you will not get triggered, then your company is going to send you for international assignments, because they know that you will be very easily to you will you it will be very easy to fit into other cultures, because you don't to take the criticism to heart, and so on. And this reminds me to one question which George was asking yesterday. If I can conclude with that, she was asking me, how do you prepare to go in different markets? What is the mechanism? How do you prepare? So all of these things will, if I do all these things and improve my personality, which can take feedback, then when I will go to international market, I will have that personality which don't get defensive on everything. And when the other people will see me as a person who is rational, who is not getting emotional all the time, uh, they would want to work with me. So this is how these things are linked. They might, on the surface, they might seem that they don't link, but they are. If you are determined to learn from whatever feedback you get, no one can stop you. It's a very interesting book, forthcoming book. Of course, this article is a little bit old, 2014, so book is out now. Thanks for the feedback, the science and art of receiving feedback. Well, if you are interested in this topic, which you should be, I think, but everyone has their own taste. If you are interested, you should read more on these topics and try to improve your own capacity to receive and give feedback. Thank